It's 8:52 a.m. Monday morning, and I don't know if you saw my last video. It's kind of funny, my teeth whitening video. I just thought I had an idea for it and thought it would be funny to run with it. And but on a more serious note, I wanted to do a video about what's been going on with me for the last 2 years since the last time I did a video on YouTube. I think the last time I did a video was at the beginning of 2008. I guess I'll just tell a story as it goes. Last time I really was involved heavily in YouTube. Well, I've always been involved in YouTube, but heavily when I was watching all the time was 2007, when Nault and Zipster and Michael Buckley had just came out and started doing his videos. YouTube was a little different. It was more of a community of people talking and doing vlogs, and it was not real well known. And I attended South Tube 1 in Atlanta, in Marietta. We had a great time. Got to meet Tube Granny and Zipster, Naults, Lemonette. I mean, they're all salt of the earth, wonderful people. And not too long after that, we, my wife and I, Misty, she was at South Tube 1. I don't know if you remember her, or if maybe you'll get to see her in a later video, because I'm going to start making videos more often. I need to really chronicle my life and put myself on TV, or at least on video, so people can. I feel like I need to make a little diary blog of my life. So we adopted a child. He's from Honduras. His name's Tucker. He is now 8. He'll be 9 in January. We adopted him when he was 5. He's a very wonderful kid. We always had trouble conceiving children and never knew exactly why or what the issues were. Had a lot of testing done, but never really had any kind of in vitro or anything. We were both college students, and I've been going to college for a while, and we never really had the money to do like IUI or anything like that. Let's see. We adopted Tucker. That took up a lot of our time. But he is a gift from God. He really is. Monday we'll see this video and hopefully realize that's what he is, because he thinks now that we're, strict, because he's a typical 8-year-old getting into everything. But let's see. So we adopted Tucker, and that was a change of life. Already full-grown 5-year-old. We were both college students, and the way we adopted him was not ideal, but it was we worked it together, and God blessed us in many ways, and we were able to really make it through financially and everything, because it's kind of hard getting a kid when you haven't had one. It can be very expensive. We got him right before Christmas and had to go do all the Santa stuff, and that was a lot of fun. Anyway, that March I got sick with I didn't know what it was. I went to the emergency room. I was doubled over in pain, and went to the emergency room and was seen, and they did a ultrasound and found I had a bad gallbladder. They immediately put me in surgery. I was like, "Whoa, wait, what are you talking about surgery?" I mean, they didn't even give me a chance to say, "Hey, how are you doing?" It was, "We're putting you in surgery right now. This thing's going to explode in your body. You're going to get sepsis. It can be very, very dangerous." So I was rushed off to surgery the next day, and I had my gallbladder removed. Went home, and boy, was I sick. Gallbladder surgery usually is something, they did it laparoscopically. Most people get over it really, really quick, from what I hear, laparoscopically, and it is, from what I hear, from everybody else, it was pretty simple surgery, but it really hit me hard. I had to stop that quarter of school and stop going. I was working part-time as a wireless network analyst at a company downtown Atlanta. And my wife, she was still in college. She's a nurse now. She graduated at the end of 2008. I guess that was about the end of 2008. Let's see, March of 2008, and I got my gallbladder out in March. I wasn't feeling really good. I didn't heal well. Something wasn't right with my body. I am overweight, and I know a lot of doctors were saying, that it's your weight, and when you're overweight, it takes time to heal, and, you have to really give yourself, it could be up to a year, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I started to feel better. I did start to get better. And then by that Christmas of '08, I was working. I went back to school. I was working as the same job, part-time as a wireless network analyst. Excuse me. I went to work one day, sat down at my desk, logged on my computer, and I just got dizzy as I've ever been in my life. And I stood up, and when I did, I passed out. Boom, I hit the floor. And so they called the hospital, which is downtown, called Grady. It's like the hospital for people who don't have insurance in the metro counties. And they came out, and it's a very scary place to go to, and they will leave you sitting in the hallways. It is not a good it's a good hospital, but it's not a good place to go if you are sick and don't know what's going on. So anyway, they called my wife, said, come get your husband. He's refusing to go by ambulance. I refused. I signed a little sheet and said, if I, blah, 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 if I die, it's not their fault. But anyway, so she came and got me. I went home. I went to sleep. I was feeling better. Went to sleep. Slept for 2-3 days. Called into work 2 to 3 days. I kept getting worse and worse and worse. By about the 6th or 7th day, I woke up and went to the mirror, and I was pale as I could be. I mean, I'd never been so pale. And I looked like I was turning yellow, and I called my wife in there, and I said, do I look yellow to you? And she said, no, you're a little pale, but you look like you got a cold. I think it's just a cold. And I said, no, there's something wrong. I'm pale. And I had the worst migraine headache, the worst headache I could ever, I can't even explain to you. It was in the back of my head. I was having her massage the back of my neck, thinking that the headache would go away, and it didn't. And so she called 911 because I told her, I said, I'm fixing to pass out. I didn't have any energy. I didn't feel like I could do anything. So called 911 and they took me to a local hospital in Atlanta called St. Joseph Hospital. There's a lot of St. Josephs around the United States, so that sounds probably familiar to a lot of people. They took me to the emergency room. They pulled CBC, which is a complete blood count, and I had a hemoglobin level of 4. A normal human male is supposed to have a hemoglobin level of 12 to 15, or 13 to 15, and females is 12 to 14. I had a 4. I had almost no blood left in my body. They immediately gave me a blood transfusion. They gave me the blood. 6 hours later, they drew my blood again, and my hemoglobin level was a 4 again, even though they had given me a whole transfusion of blood. They told my wife that they didn't think I was going to make it. They didn't, that I was dying, and they told her that I needed to, they need to make arrangements and get things in order because I wasn't going to make it past the next couple of days, because you can't live without blood in your body, and basically I didn't have any. And so they did. They kept giving me blood. They gave me a drug called IVIG. I don't know. It's a big long word. It stands for immunoglobulin something. It's intravenously done. It's a treatment for some kinds of cancers and MS, and it stopped. It didn't stop, but it slowed down the hemolysis process. My spleen was eating up my blood, and my blood was stabilizing, but they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They thought I had leukemia. And so they did a bone marrow biopsy where they take you into a room and put you on a table, and they drill into your back and get some bone. The worst experience of my life. If you've ever had it done, I feel for you, and if you, not to scare you, but if you ever have to have it done, you better grit your teeth and ask for pain medication. That was a very painful thing. Anyway, so let's see. They took me back to the room. They did several MRIs, CTs, complete blood work. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I had a total of 19 blood transfusions while I was there. I was there for about 45 days. And one of the charge nurses in the ward was looking at my blood counts, and she said, she came into my room and said, "Your body doesn't make any cortisol." And I said, what's that? Being the computer nerd I was, of course I had my laptop there. I was in the hospital every day. I was bored, so I typed it in, and a disease came up. I put lack of cortisol, and disease came up and said adrenal insufficiency, or Addison's disease. And as I went down the list, I had every symptom of this disease. It was like that mystery diagnosis show or some kind of program like House. I had every symptom. And apparently, I was an Addison's person. It's a very rare disease. John F. Kennedy, the president, had it. The one that was murdered in the 60s had Addison's disease, and so does, I think, Maria Shriver, but it's very, very rare.